Hello, everyone. This is Demetria with Vantage Point Coaching, and today's Finish Friday. Woohoo! Yes, we made it through another week, and the first full week of the month of March is under our belt. And this is that time of year when we're getting close to that season change, right? The first quarter of the year is getting ready to wrap up, and then we're getting ready to dive headfirst into Q2, which is always my favorite time of year because it's the springtime. And so March is that month in the middle where we kind of get ready to transition, close out the old, get into the new. So this month is off and away, and it's cooking with some good stuff. So what we want you to do is make sure that you are subscribed on our website to get our newsletter, to get updates, to get information. Check out our blog there. We have our blog that is active. And if you ever want to be a contributor to our blog, or you want to have something you want to share with us, shoot us an email at contactus@vantagepointcoach.com. We welcome, we want more contributors in the Vantage Point Coaching community. So if you have some good content, something rich that you want to share, a message that you want to get to a different audience on a different platform, send us your content, contribute, and contact us so that we can have more engagement and conversation. And if you're ever looking for a coach, give us a call. And so on today's Finish Friday, as you know, this is where we recap the life and leadership lessons that we picked up from coaching along the way throughout the week. And woo, what was interesting? There were not a lot of consistent themes this week. We were a little bit all over the place. But as I was having a conversation with a client on yesterday, one of the things we talked about were all of the assessments and self-awareness tools that are out there, right? So that came up with one client and then with another client. And I was like, you know what? I think that's what I want to land on this week. And it's not so much about which tool is best, but really, how do we use them? Because what we know is that you either use it or you lose it. If you've worked somewhere and you've probably done any number of personality assessments. You may have done Myers-Briggs. I'm certified in that. DISC, I'm certified in that. We were talking about Strengths Finder. So I have my Strengths 2.0 little book here with my top 5 strengths. This is based on work by the Gallup organization. And then there's the emotional intelligence, something else. But if you're not actively using this information, you're going to lose it. And it just becomes one more good thing that we did not institutionalize, that we did not incorporate, that it did not become a part of the fabric of who we are, of our organization, and it just fizzles out and dies on the vine. But these tools, these self-awareness tools, are very, very useful, not just for learning about ourselves, but learning about our team and the people we work with, who we report to. And it gives us really great insight and great ways to have conversations. And so if you are going to utilize any of these assessment tools, here's what I want you to do. 3 things. 1, really self-reflect. So when one conversation, and I laughed when I heard it because I've heard it over and over again. Oh, that's not right. Like that can't possibly be right. Sometimes we have this view and this image of ourselves that doesn't quite align, maybe with what others have told us, or with what maybe the behavior that we're actually demonstrating and exhibiting on an everyday basis. But as we started talking through, and the client and I started diving deeper and talking through elements of the assessment, she was like, okay, I get that. I get that. So really take a moment before you're quick to say, that's not me or that's not right, is self-reflect. Take some time, do some introspection, self-reflect, and then also in your self-reflecting, think about, how can I apply this? How can I apply this in my life? How can I apply this in my work every day with the people who I interact with? And if there's something I disagree with, why am I having that disagreement? What is coming up for me that's making me balk against what this tool is saying? It's not that they're 100% right or they're 100% accurate, but when we have some feelings, sometimes we need to examine what's the root and what's the source of what's coming up for us before we try to just poo-poo something and toss it to the side and say that's no good. Okay. The next thing you need to do is create an action plan with any of these tools and resources, whether it's Myers-Briggs, DISC, emotional intelligence, strengths finder, true colors. I can go on and on and on, all down the list. Whatever the tool or resource is, create an action plan. What are you going to do with the information? How are you going to use this information, and how are you going to, whether it's in an organization, institutionalize it so that it can have ongoing benefits? How are you in your own life going to actualize it so it has ongoing benefits? You want to have some sort of action plan that you're willing to commit to and execute on a regular basis. And so without action, it's going to die on the vine. So got to have an action plan. And then last thing I want you to do is communicate with others. So if you take an assessment, and the conversation I was having with one client, it was about, so how do you use this information in communicating with your leader? How do you use this information and how you want to shape the organizational culture? How do you want to use this information in order to improve relationships? How do you want to use this information to improve productivity and work? So there are methodologies and tools that we have at our disposal. And if we don't really self-reflect, don't create an exit plan, and don't communicate with others, they just become a training exercise or an activity that we did and participated in, and they add no value. And so communicating with others, especially if you have found some resistance or tension in the organization or with yourself and another person, communicating, well, this is my style of communication. What's your style of communication? This, if you're using something like the Thomas Kilman conflict tool, this is my approach to conflict. What's your approach to conflict and conflict resolution? So communicating that with others, it really helps just strengthen our relationships and how effective we are. And so that's it. That's our Finish Friday on all the assessment and self-awareness tools out there. They're great, but you got to self-reflect, you got to create an action plan, and you have to communicate with others. And when all else fails, hey, work with a coach. Work with a coach to help you find the words, find the vocabulary in order to do those three things and make it stick and actually get the most out of using those tools. And so again, contact us at VantagePointCoach.com if you have any questions, want to learn more, want to learn about some of the assessments that we may be able to do for you or for your team. If you have a team, or you a new leader with a new group and a new organization, and you want to bring in a third party to help facilitate that, so it doesn't feel like something you're doing to the people, but you're doing with the people, then bring us in and we'll be able to facilitate a workshop and a session around any number of the tools. And if I am not certified in it, I'm sure I know someone who is, who'll be able to help. And so with that, we're going to sign off on today, Finish Friday, and say, have a great weekend. Bye.